Well, hello and welcome back to Night in My City Unite. Today, I have a beautiful couple with me with an amazing testimony. I'm going to start with your official name, Henry, but we call you Boomer. And so from now on throughout the show, everybody will hear me say Boomer.
Yes.
And then Jeannie.
Yes.
See, I like to emphasize it because I know so many people say your name wrong.
Yes.
And they are the Martinez couple.
Yes.
And so I'm so glad y'all here. I'm almost speechless. God has blessed us to have 2 times together.
Yes.
For us to hear your testimony. And I named this episode The Father's Business. And so today you're going to walk us through your testimony, not just for me to hear it, but for those that are watching to hear it and to be encouraged, uplifted, and those that are in a hard time. And everybody understand once you hear their testimony to be able to get up out of a pit is what I'm hearing today. So let's start with you, Boomer.
Okay.
When did you, in your life, let's go back, and what age did addiction walk into your life?
My father passed away May 20th, 1999. And I think prior to that, I'd already started drinking a little bit more than drinking called for. Mm-hmm. I started just kind of like opening myself up to the occasional recreational drug use with like cocaine and stuff like that. And in reality, it found a home with me because it just made me feel a lot better than the way I felt normally. Mm-hmm. So it was a great way to get away from not knowing exactly who I wanted to be, what I wanted to be, or who I could be for anybody. So.
And what age was that?
My father passed away in, like I said, in 99, so I was probably around like 25.
Okay.
But I mean, high school I experimented with alcohol and drugs, stuff like that. But that's whenever it really became serious. So
Intense.
and it was hard because, especially for my kids, because my father, he passed away from cirrhosis. So I remember when he died that day, I went out to the parking lot and I opened the trunk and there was, beer and stuff in there, and I started drinking, and it's like my kids were watching me drink right after my father passed away. So that wasn't a good sign for things to come. But
Jeannie?
I would have to say that I was at a ripe age of 14. I think that I wanted to figure out what the adults were doing.
Yes.
Because there's always a spot where the adults go
Yes.
and where the kids go.
Yes.
And it always seems like the adults were having more fun than we were. So I started experimenting with my mom and dad's box wine in the refrigerator. So yeah, I started at a pretty young age for me. Yeah.
I didn't share this the last time we sat together, but that was an age for me because I had older cousins. And so it wasn't the box wine. It was more like Jack Daniels for us. And so we would just still it and pour water in it so they wouldn't think we were drinking it. So yes, an early age because of that. I mean, and that triggered me to think back of the adults are in there having a good time, and then they say, now the kids have to go to the back.
yeah. Jeannie was more sophisticated because she was drinking out of a box wine.
Yes.
Well, in 7th grade is when I was using the vodka because you could pour the water in the vodka. But then I would sit in school with the vodka in my purse, and instead of being real conspicuous about it.
What?
Well, I can't. The word conspicuous, yeah. Instead of hiding it, I would actually take my purse and go like this in the middle of class. So I was not really.
Make sure this ain't.
No,
And I'm gonna say now, this is gonna be a hilarious, a fun time together. We may cry, so just put your seatbelt on and just enjoy the ride. So, what do you feel caused your dependency on drugs?
Well, now, I mean, there was a lot of things I used to blame my parents. I used to blame, my upbringing, my family and stuff like that. But I've learned now that it was just me not knowing who I was. It was me. It all for me personally, for my wife as well. It all falls to identity. If you can't wake up and look in the mirror and know who you are, and have to rely
Yeah.
on other people to tell you who you are,
Yes.
then that persona, that worth, that value, that perception is going to change on a daily basis.
Yes.
And every day it was changing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just I'm different, so I kind of talk different. So I don't know how people will receive this, but like one morning I'd wake up, I want to be white because being Mexican wasn't so cool. And then I wanted to be Mexican because that's kind of who I look like, the most. And it was just I wanted to be the sports guy, and I wanted to be the this person and that person. I was always just trying to fit myself into a persona that allowed me to be accepted, and that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work, and that mirror, that reflection in the mirror changed on a daily basis, and alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. They just made me just settle into whatever persona I was in for that day. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Whatever mask you wanted to put on.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that was
for sure.
good.
You want it to be white?
well, I mean, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it's just, you know what I'm talking about.
You got one.
There's those social.
So I think that I want to piggyback on that. That's the same thing with me, because I wasn't skinny enough to be a cheerleader, or I wasn't pretty enough to be I wasn't sports at all. I mean, I couldn't do a volleyball, I couldn't throw a ball, I couldn't
Sing.
I could sing. I was not, but I could definitely smoke weed and hang out with those kind of people. So they were accepting of me, and those people kind of acted like the people that I was around, the adults that I was around. So I fit right into that. Of course, I didn't know my identity then either.
So how long did your dependency go?
Well,
For you, it was older, like you said, 24, 25, but just dabbling in it, but being serious.
yeah, when my father passed away, that's whenever I kicked it into overdrive, and I let go of being a father and being a family member, and I just committed myself to be everything that drugs told me that I could be.
Okay.
So, about 25 years old is when everything fell apart for me.
I don't think that I was just recreational. I think that I went full force.
Okay.
I mean, once I started drinking, it was just I went to the wall with it.
Yeah.
By 17, I was doing cocaine. By 18, I was doing meth. I was a full range alcoholic before I was 21, and then it turned into IV meth use, and none of that stopped until I was 25. So that was a good 6-year ride for me.
Wow. When or where did you decide, when and where were you when you decided that enough was enough?
Well, I think after the age of 25, I decided that a lot of times. I mean,
I'm glad you're being transparent. Yes.
There was plenty of times where I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to quit for my kids. And, unfortunately, my kids weren't enough. I tried to quit for my grandmother. I tried to quit for my mom in memory of my dad and for my brothers and sisters. And I failed consistently because I was never doing it for me. I never, like I said, saw value in myself. Why would I want to quit something, for someone I didn't even know? I didn't know myself. So I think it was the last time I was down. It was the last time I was down. I got
What
my
does down mean?
prison.
Okay.
I've been to prison 4 times. The first time I went to prison was in 2002. I always remember. I've always remembered my first prison number. It was 1270565, and my last one I received in April of 2013. If you don't need to do a background check on me, because I'll tell you everything I've ever done. In my pursuit of drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, I used to do a lot of breaking into buildings and stuff like that, because I felt like I was a great person, so I wasn't going to pick up a gun and rob nobody. I wasn't going to, do those things. I'm just going to break into buildings when nobody's there.
Justified it.
Yeah, and that's just a nicer way of doing what I needed to do. But April 2013 is whenever I got my last 10-year sentence, and I got there and was there by myself, like I usually was when I was locked up, because my family They would distance themselves whenever I was locked up. Occasionally they'd see me, round up my kids and bring them to see me, stuff like that. But for the most part, it was just me all by myself. And I remember there was a man two cells down from me. I was on the Cofield unit in Tennessee Colony, Texas, and it's the largest prison in the state of Texas, 4,000 man unit.
Wow.
It's a lifer unit. I don't know why I was there at first, but I ended up going to college while I was there. So, but to get to your point, there was a man who had killed his cousin and a couple of family members at a party. But this man consistently got visits on every weekend. He got letters and he was making phone calls and care packages. I mean, this guy got everything. And I was sitting myself and I'm like, man, all I did was break into a building a lot. But I'm like this pariah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody just kind of forgot me. And he would get letters after letters after letters. And I was like, I just want one letter. That's all I want. And I was reading, I picked up the book, the Bible, and I read the book of Ephesians. And Paul addresses different people in the Bible to the people of. And at the very end, I just added my name and to Boomer on Cofield. And it kind of like, it just clicked. I finally found out, where I fit in.
Wow.
And I was in the New Testament a lot because the Old Testament freaked me out. It's crazy, If you're a new Christian and try to go through Deuteronomy and Numbers, oh, good Lord. So I stuck to the New Testament and I found a lot of things that I could understand. Romans 7:15 it says, I don't understand why I do the things that I do. For the things that I don't want to do are the things that I do. And the things that I should do, I don't do. And what I shouldn't have done is I got that tattoo when I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, because I thought that would be cool.
It looks awful.
Yeah, it looks awful because when you get when you get tattoos in prison, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of you're trying to hurry up and not get caught, and there you go. So you got a couple of questionable tattoos as well.
I do. I do.
But here's the thing. Here's what I found out, that I was tattooed on the heart of Jesus way before I got that old busted tattoo.
That's
That was
right.
good.
That was good.
Yeah.
You turned that around.
That was
Really.
Bam. So keep up. So yeah, your other interviews don't go like this, do they?
Hey, they go all kind of ways, and I love it. I'm crying, laughing. I'm either crying or I'm crying, laughing. So it's all good.
But I finally found my place in the Bible, and then I drifted into the Old Testament, and I saw so many people that were broken that God used and put in positions of authority and power and just, I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was just really crazy that it finally dawned on me that somebody cared about me and loved me enough to do the unthinkable. So yeah, that's whenever it clicked.
What was the question?
When did and when or where? Look, because we everywhere. I love this. When and where were you when you found Jesus, or he found you?
Well, he definitely found me because I was broken and disgusted. I was at a point in my life where I was completely homeless. My parents had washed their hands of me. My kids got taken away from me. My addiction was out of control, and just I was spiraling downward. I had tried to take my life previous, and at the second point when I tried to take my life, I was in a trailer house that they call trap houses because there's no water, there's no electricity, and you're just staying on couches and using drugs. And I had gone into the restroom, and unbeknownst to anybody in the house, who I didn't even know these people, I laid on the floor and I cried and I cried, and I was ready to take my life again. And I said, if there is a God, then I need help, because I have no place to go.
Yeah.
No one by my side, and I have nothing to live for.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And that very next day, a friend, not really a friend, an associate, we got into a stolen car and went to a restaurant to have some drinks. Of course, we don't have any money, so we just walked out without paying. I apologize for that, by the way. And
Shout out to Chili's.
No, that was El Chico, actually.
Oh, Chico.
Shout out to
El
El Chico. They're going to come after me now that I have that.
It's covered under the blood.
It's under
And
the
I
blood.
really tried to pretend like we weren't fixing to do that. So everybody's trying to get me to the car, and I'm trying to actually look in the glove box like, hey, I really lost my wallet. And so that just got the cops time to get there. And I'd already made up my mind that I was running from a warrant, and I was already in a lot of trouble. And I had it in my mind that if I was going to get caught this time, I was ready. So usually when you see the blue lights and the red lights behind you, I started taking off all my jewelry. And I had one little backpack, and that was my daughter's very first backpack for when she went to preschool. And I had 2 baby books and some stolen clothes and really nothing of any value really in there except for the pictures of my kids. And I took off everything I had, and they asked for my name, and I gave them a fake name. So apparently I wasn't too ready, but I was like there.
Yes.
But where I met Jesus was I had to go to Denton County Jail. And in Denton County Jail, there was a lady that came in, and she played the song I Can Only Imagine. And there is something so spectacular about that song.
Yes.
And in that song, I closed my eyes, and it's like the Father spoke to me for the first time and said, you asked for my help, and here I am.
Wow.
So he did the only thing that he could do, and that was dispatch those police officers to that stolen car to get me. And I had to spend time there. I had to spend time in another county. I was locked up for about 18 months, and then got sent to my 3rd treatment center.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of met the Pentecostal way.
Yeah.
Because that's the church that would come in. And they were falling out on the floor, and I was really confused. And so I just kind of did it too. And I kind of looked around like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling it yet.
Yeah.
But I knew God was talking to me because there was things happening in my life that should not have been happening. And I remember that I hadn't talked to my mom and dad in a long time, which really, really hurt my heart bad. And I hadn't seen my kids, didn't know what they looked like. And on one Christmas, they sent me a locket. And when I opened the locket, there was a picture of my son and my daughter.
Wow.
And I just knew that I was never going to use meth again. I just wasn't. And in 2013, after 7 years clean, after I got my daughter back, I decided that I was going to take a drink because I was going to be normal. I was around normal people who normally drink.
Yeah.
So I can be normal too. And I found out quickly that I was not normal.
No, you're not.
No. My daughter had to see that, unfortunately. And I vowed, I made a covenant with God at that point. I will never do it again. So, me and Jesus, we cool.
Yes.
That's my road dog. So, yeah, really is.
I like a part where you said that they dispatched the cops.
They did.
And they were your angels
They were.
to get you to a place to where when you cried out in a dark pit
Yeah.
that he answered you. May not have been in a beautiful place, but the same way as Joseph in the jail.
That's right.
And so you both talked about your families and how the addiction really hindered and hurt, broke up your families, stopped communication. Let's talk about how God is helping you mend your family relationships to help someone else. And we're laughing and talking because we know each other. And I've heard their stories before and their testimonies and the victories and the struggles before. But I want people watching understanding that you all have been through, like you know it. You're not saying, oh, I just had a shot of vodka and I just drink. I was just drunk for a night and now I can talk to someone that's addicted. No, you all were at the bottom.
Yeah.
where all you could call out for was God.
Yeah.
And then you had to make a decision to shift something. So let's talk about family relationships. Family relationships when you were addicted versus family relationship now.
Well, I mean, that first part of it's easy. I didn't have any type of relationship with them. I always felt like if I stayed away from my kids when I was high, then I was a good father because they didn't see me high. Well, unfortunately, they never saw me because I was high all the time. And you're right. We're able to talk today to people about addiction and those things because, I mean, for 15 plus years, my life was synonymous with misery, grief, anguish, failure. Just all those every word that's not good, I knew it intimately. And unfortunately, my kids and my family, they, I mean, my family, they drink now and those things like that. But there's a difference between people drinking and enjoying a drink, what I'm saying, at dinner or whatever the case may be, and me looking for the last amount of alcohol on the face of the earth, wherever it may be.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, and that's where I was in my misery because I wanted to drink till there was nothing left. And then after there was nothing left, and then I wanted to go to drugs. And so there was times when I'd see my kids where I would be, sober for maybe like 2 days, and I would go spend time with them, hang out with them, stuff like that. But unfortunately, I was just ready to go back out and use again. And now, today, things are a lot better. I have a really good relationship with my brothers and sisters. And my daughters, we communicate. We got a pretty good group text chat thing going on. So, but I think the one thing that the Lord has done for me is that, and this might sound weird, but me and my son, we don't have a really good relationship at all. And it hurts my heart to say that, but I think that it helps me even more because there's so many men that I deal with on a daily basis that are trying to be fathers again, and they're consistently getting that no. Can I see my kids? No. Can I call my kids? No. Can I be around them? No, 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 no. And then whenever they say, "Well, Henry, you got everything back. How do you cope with it?" And I'm like, I don't have everything back yet.
Yeah.
But just because I get a no doesn't necessarily mean I have to cope with what I used to cope with it.
Yes.
With, my son is incredible. He graduated from the University of Arkansas. He's in Austin now, and he's doing great. And my daughters tell me that he's a lot like me, and I'm thankful for that because there's a lot of great things that I believe that are good about me that addiction could never take away from me.
That's right.
I just didn't use them. I didn't recognize them, and I just wasn't participating in those character traits that God had given me. But I mean, he's really, really used those to his advantage and benefit. So we do the best that we can with what we got. I try to help people on a daily basis understand that there's so many bridges that have been burned, and sometimes God doesn't want those bridges, rebuilt. The ones that are important to Him, that are going to be important to you, they're going to be fixed, and you're going to be able to walk over those things again. But
I need a tissue.
She needs a tissue.
But it's a process. It's a process, a daily process where I'm having to rely on God to get me through certain things, certain situations. Because I mean, if I don't have Him, I'm not here in this place.
That's right.
I don't know the love of this church because I can't comprehend love. I don't have people in my life that willingly push me to points of consideration. And my son is my biggest victory because he was my only son, but he's still my biggest hurdle, and God's gonna help me get through that.
Yes, He is.
So you?
Oh, I'm over here just thinking about it. And when I think about it, it brings tears to my eyes because it's a mother-daughter relationship, I hurt my mom a lot in my addiction. And I remember the last time I saw my daughter at 6 years old in a rearview mirror. And the next time she came back to me, she was 12. So
Wow.
I mourned that little girl, and I mourned my son because he was 4, and I'll never be able to get that time back. And it's just, I don't think that I'll ever be able to get the relationship back that I had with my mom. I miss her incredibly, but we have a different relationship now, which is great. And I think that I realized not too long ago that she just won't be around forever.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And because of that, I started writing her letters so that she can read them. And even though we're 6 hours away, she can sit on her front porch and read something from me that's tangibly written out of my hand, you know? I remember when my kids were taken away for those 6 years, I wrote in a journal to them all the time. And it wasn't until my daughter was 21 that I gave her that journal. And I gave her that journal because she started going down a path and had difficulties with my granddaughter. And I had to take my granddaughter. And I wanted her to know how, if she kept going down that road, how she would feel losing my granddaughter. So it's been tricky. It really has. A mother and daughter relationship is the most precious thing in the world. And I too have difficulty with my son. I haven't been able to bridge that gap, but we're still every now and then, on occasion, we text, and at least he stays in touch with my daughter. You know, the brother sister relationship. And my father finally got to walk me down the aisle, and I think we are where we are because we're supposed to be where we're at, and it'll never be like it was, and I can never give it back, but I wouldn't change the way it is right now for the world.
Well, I like you all understanding and settling into the way it is.
Yeah.
Not making excuses, taking responsibility. But when, Jeannie, when you were saying now you taking care of your granddaughter, so it became a cycle.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk, I'm just feeling led by the Holy Spirit, why don't you talk to not just the mothers, but just the people that are in that cycle?
It's a hard cycle to be in. My mother raised my daughter, and in a sense, my daughter's doing great at raising hers, but she did go through the issues, and it's not just about being a mother to your child, but being present. It's about not giving them a phone or a device. It's about playing with them.
Yes.
It's about it's the presence, being intentional with that relationship, because you can never go backwards, only forwards. And it's not, and if you're in addiction and you're not with your children, it's not a permanent deal. It's a temporary deal. You can make it permanent if you keep continuing down that path, but it doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't. And all you have to do is keep putting your right foot in front of your left foot and doing the right thing when no one is looking.
That's good.
And that will build your faith, that will build your confidence, and that will build the mother in you that you're supposed to be. Because our children are the only ones, I love the quote, who know what our heart sounds like from the inside. And so we're the only ones that can give them the love that they need, right? So just never give up, ever give up. I don't think we'll ever give up.
No, I don't think so either.
Ever.
Because he didn't give up on you all.
Heck no, he didn't.
Yeah, I gave him a lot of reasons too, but he never
Me
did.
too.
Yeah,
Me
so-
too.
And that's why I like the patience that I'm hearing that you all have for your children.
Yeah.
Because of the father's patience for you both.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to understand that, you know, I put them through a lot, you know, and as much as I would love to snap my fingers and everything's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? I think if you do that, if you were to say, God, I want everything to be back the way it used to be, then I'm not here.
That's
I
right.
don't have those experiences.
That's
I don't
right.
have those struggles because I know the smell of, I know the smell that struggle has, the taste, and I know the fear of struggle. And those things, I love the fact when we're in church, we'll have a church member that'll come up to me and Jeannie, and they're like, hey, there's somebody that I need you to talk to. You know, if I don't have those things that I've been through, I don't have a conversation for that person.
That's right.
I don't have a testimony for that person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a blessing that we get to walk that stuff out because it keeps me grounded. You know, I don't ever want to be too. The other day we were talking to somebody about addiction and stuff like that, and he said, well, yeah, I went to this one guy and he really just didn't have time for me, and I don't know why that guy didn't have time for him.
Yeah.
But I know what the Lord told me in that moment was, don't ever get so healthy that you forgot what it means to be sick.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
So, and that's there's moments where I am sitting on my chair over there where we normally sit, and I'm thinking about my son, and it hurts my heart. But if he can see where I'm at today, you know what I'm saying? I have to be prepared for when that day comes when he says, hey,
Yes.
I'm ready. And I'm like, bet, I've been ready. Let's go. And that's what keeps me going every day. That's what keeps her going every day.
Well, there's been a couple times that people have talked to us and prophesied to us and told us that we're bridge builders.
Yes.
And I believe that with every shadow of a doubt because God teaches us to show them that the bridge can be built, but sometimes it has to be built in a different way.
Yes. That's
You
good.
know,
That's
different
good.
screws,
Yes.
different nails, different. The bridge won't ever look the same. And that's good.
I like it.
We need an upgrade
Yeah,
sometimes.
you do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Celebrate Recovery.
I love it.
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
And where you were introduced to it. Let's just talk about your story of Celebrate Recovery and where you're at with it now.
I came to Beaumont in 2016, and I was at the Melton Center. At that time, it was for men, and and in walked this man, and this is how I tell the story. He's gonna love it when he hears this. He doesn't. He had this enormous, strong Viking voice that just called out. He said, "Celebrate Recovery inside, next door." And I was like, man, that sounds like a handsome man. Yeah? And it was Joe Rhodes. Joe Rhodes came around the corner, and he just had this smile on his face. He said, would you like to go to Celebrate Recovery? And I went in prison, and I was like, yeah, let's go. Went over there, and we talked and hung out, and I just started listening to these concepts of recovery. I'd been to AA, NA, those things like that, and those were good. They helped me. But that small group meeting that we used to have at the Melton Center, it led me to the actual Celebrate Recovery meeting here on campus. And the day I got there, I got off on the van, walked in, and there was a woman named Catherine Nix, and an older woman.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And she saw me, and she goes, come here. And she talked to me for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, just asking me who I was. And at that time, I really, really needed a mom because I was in Beaumont, didn't know nothing about Beaumont, and I was just so far away from home, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And she just talked to me, and then she said, come here. She just gave me a hug, and I just started crying.
Oh.
I started crying. And she said, son, I want to see you in church on Sunday. And I said, I can't go because I'm still on lockdown. And she was like, okay, well, whenever you can come.
Yeah.
I need you to come to church. And the day that I came to church, she was a volunteer. She used to be a greeter up in front. She saw me again and gave me a big old hug. And she introduced me to one lady and this other man, and hug after hug after hug. And man, went back to Celebrate Recovery, and it's just changed my life. It differs from AA and NA. I have respect for all those programs, but when I understand who Jesus is, and another program says that you have to have a higher power of your choosing in order to find a foundation of recovery. And whenever I sit in those other meetings, and one woman said that her higher power is a certain God and stuff like that, and another man, his higher power was fishing and stuff like that. There's a term that says, well, your higher power can be the doorknob. It just doesn't matter. Whatever it is that gets you through the day sober, then that's your higher power. And I thought to myself, Jesus went to the cross for me.
Yeah.
So why would I let him go by an alias or be equivalent to a doorknob, or fishing or something like that? And Celebrate Recovery allows me to say all day, every day that Jesus Christ is my higher power.
Yes.
I got a T-shirt that says that. It says Jesus Christ is my higher power, because there's boldness in declaring his name in that,
Yes.
The Bible says that if you confess me before men, I will confess you before the angels in heaven.
That's right.
Well, I guarantee you, they know Boomer up there. They know my name, because if I stop confessing his name, then I'm liable to touch something that I'm not supposed to touch.
That's
I'm going
right.
to get burned. So
Yes, he's your healer.
yes, absolutely. So Celebrate Recovery.
Celebrate Recovery. It's sort of a family affair.
Yeah.
Because I started going in Tyler, and then when my daughter got out of treatment, a very, very special friend of ours took her to Celebrate Recovery, and in
Wow.
turn, that's where she found her, my granddaughter's dad.
Oh, wow.
So it's just like, it's been like a very, it's it runs in our blood. It just does. And I love it. It gives me a chance to fellowship with people, like-minded people, and you get to worship before your step studies or your meetings, and it's just, everybody there loves Jesus, and everybody there wants to stay clean. So,
Yes.
hoorah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best place to go for us.
But I think what Celebrate Recovery does better than any other program is that at the beginning we have a moment of worship, and in those moments it's like when you walk through the doors for the very first time, there's apprehension, there's nervousness and stuff like that. But man, the lights go down, the guys start singing, and it's like you can cry right now
Yes.
if you want to, or you can make an altar of tears and failure and just uncertainty, and just say, look, like, Lord, I need you to do something for me right now.
Yeah.
And you can't have those type of moments in those other groups. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, all respect to those other groups, because they've gotten some people sober. But for me, man, just the opportunity to walk in and say, God, I haven't had a good day today,
Yeah.
and I really, really need you. My wife has been really, really mean to me today, and I need you in
Yes,
this moment. So, but I mean that's what some people say.
Yeah.
I mean, Celebrate Recovery is just, it's not like I get nervous when people come to me and say, Celebrate Recovery is like a prison ministry and stuff like that. It's way more than
No.
that.
Way more.
Yeah.
I've been sober. I'll be sober 5 years next Tuesday. Okay.
All right.
I haven't touched alcohol or methamphetamines or any type of drug.
Yes.
But the program of Celebrate Recovery allows me to still work my life issues out. Job, friendships, relationships, this world,
Grief, codependency.
grief, codependency, those things like that. I mean, right now in this world, there are so many things you have to deal with. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
COVID, pandemic, politics, all that stuff like that, and those things will give you issues. And if they don't give you issues, then I need to know your secret, because I mean, I
Yeah.
for instance, if we're always transparent. When COVID came around, I was glued to the TV, and I would come home and I got a subscription to Fox News, Newsmax, every I was paying attention to all of them, and I would come home and tell my wife, hey, look, this is what's going on, this blah blah blah, this and that, whatever, and then like 3 weeks later, I looked at my wife and she's full of fear,
Yeah.
and I'm like looking at her like, why are you so scared? You know what I'm saying? She wanted to glove up, put a hazmat on, and just everything, But my problem was I did that to her.
Yeah.
I did that to her.
Yeah.
So when I went to Celebrate Recovery, I had to ask God, how do I handle these things?
Yes.
Because right now my life is unmanageable. The first step tells you that we admitted that our compulsive behaviors have become unmanageable.
Yeah.
And in this moment, my life is unmanageable because of this reason. So I can work through the steps in order to get to a resolution that's better for me and for my wife.
So what are your roles in Celebrate Recovery now?
Well, we are the directors of the Celebrate Recovery program here at church, which is incredible.
Wow. Say that again.
We are the
directors of One City Celebrate Recovery.
Yes.
it's kind of that's what it's kind of like
I'm about to cry. That's so. Yeah.
Hey,
we're the
Billy May.
oh my god we're the we're like the it's kind of like the day after the prodigal comes home. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what happens after that? Well, this is what happens. You know, whenever
That's a great way. Say that again. So the prodigals are the people that's struggling and feel like they cannot see a light at the end of a dark tunnel. Can hear that again. It's like say it.
this is what happens when the prodigals come home. When God leads you back to your place of destiny and revelation, you know, this is what happens.
Yes.
I mean, if I didn't have him, you know, to get me sober, I wouldn't be here today. You know, I'm used to this light right here. I'm used to that booking photo. Whenever you get arrested, they got that big old light right there, and they make you turn this way and that way, and those things like that. I don't take those type of pictures no more.
That's right.
And now, it's whenever we were told that we were going to be given the opportunity, man, it just blew my mind.
Yeah. From IV meth use and being homeless to being the director of an absolutely incredible ministry was just surreal. Like, look at what God has done.
Because people just see the today. They don't see
the glory.
They don't see the yesterday.
Yeah, they don't know the story.
Man, because let me tell you something. In order to get to Beaumont, we went broke.
We did go broke.
Well, go back and tell them how you got to Beaumont, because I remember meeting you.
Yeah, so I had a heart issue.
That's right, you had.
And I was on the 3 different monitors, and he told me, we were living in Tyler, he said, I need to take you down to Beaumont and get you prayed over. And I'm like, I got a great church here. I don't need to go to Beaumont to get prayed over. So he finally got me down here, and when I walked into this sanctuary, it was just like he did for the first time. People are hugging you and loving on you, and all of a sudden I have some powerful people around me praying for me, and I can feel the tangible Spirit of God in this place, and I can hear him say, this is where I need you. And I'm thinking, okay. And so we go over here to the market basket after we leave church, and I said, oh no, we are not moving here. No, God, I'm not doing it. I'm too bougie. We are not moving from Tyler, right? And so I'm arguing with my father, and 2 months later they asked him.
You argue with me too.
Well, yeah, of course I
you
did.
argue with me too.
2 months later, you were asked to share your testimony here at CR, so we came back down here, so I was able to go to the CR, and he was like, Jeannie, you have prayed to be on the front lines of recovery, and this is where I need you.
Yes.
And I said, God, no, I will not ever abandon and leave my child again, because I had my child and my grandchild, and I was not leaving them. And then right after we got married on the 1st of December and just signed the lease, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm going to the lease office and walking back. And I'm standing there going, God, what am I supposed to do? Why won't you let me go to this lease office to sign my lease? And finally, I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I went and signed my lease, and 12 days later, my daughter packs up and moves back to Gainesville, and three hours away.
Wow.
And so God says, what excuse you got now, girl? And so I was like, okay, let's go.
And I kept telling her, look, this is not just a me thing. I feel like, you know, we're supposed to be down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then I turn around and I come and I get a job as I'm a licensed chemical dependency counselor.
Right. We're getting it.
And
Go
I
ahead.
get a job at the same place that he came out of the Mountain Center, which was a women's program. And I wasn't here not 3 months. And they came to me and said, I need you to run my men's program. And I was like, can I pray about this? And inside I'm going, yes, that's great, that's awesome, that's what I want to do. And so I went over there and I learned it, and I did it for about a year until the spot opened up for me to be the director over the Women's Center. And so that's God.
And that's another amazing way that he says, this is how it looks when the prodigal comes home.
Yes.
Because what are you?
I'm the director.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what were you before when you got here and they asked you to come and take the
I was just a
job?
counselor.
Okay, a what counselor?
A licensed chemical dependency
Oh,
counselor.
right, because I want them to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I went to school.
Them to hear that not only you came up out the pit, that you got educated to bring others out.
Yeah, I like that.
My counselor told me you need to go to school and work with people like you. I said, no way. I don't want to work with people like me.
Yeah.
But she said, don't you want to learn about what happened to you? And I said, you're right. I want to learn about drugs.
Yes.
Like, I know a lot about drugs. I can
Yes.
pass these classes.
Yes.
And then it just turned into a passion. And my passion turned into joy. And then it turned into working with women that I get to mother and love on
Yes.
and change.
Yes.
And I mean, it has just been incredible.
And we get to bring them here.
And we get to bring them here.
Yes.
And when they come here, the light, we had just an event last night, and to hear them, they're crying, they're
singing.
they're
Yes.
singing, they're loving, they're a lot of girls' lives have been changed, and a lot of girls decide to relocate to Beaumont because of this church and because of the ministry of Celebrate Recovery.
And that's
Wow.
it. We have the Milton Center, we have Franklin South, Franklin North, Unity Treatment Center, the Dream Center. This house itself, it's filled with people that are from all over the state of Texas, all over the state of Texas.
Yeah.
And they get a taste of CR, and it's like, hey, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, I really, really like this. Okay, well, if you really, really like this, I need you to come to church on Sunday. And then they come to church on Sunday, and it's like CR Sunday service, CR Sunday service, and it's like, I really would love to stay here.
Yes.
Or the ones that go home, we got little disciples all over,
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
We've gotten messages from people that say, you know what, I really can't find a CR or a church service
Wow.
like this one.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
I really want to come back. And
Wow.
it's like, yeah, so.
So what are y'all future goals or visions? Okay. You just, with the CR directors, I love saying that. I like it. I just love that. I'm so excited for y'all. What do you see, let's say 10 years?
Ooh.
She like that.
Yeah.
She like that. She
Yeah,
like that.
so 10 years, we're going to have our own place, our own faith-based treatment center that incorporates a detox because there's no detox around here.
That's right.
So that'll help heroin addicts, that will help alcoholics to detox, to be able to go into treatment.
Wow.
We want vans to be able to bring them here, to bring
Wow.
them to CR. We want to call it One City Recovery. Just a shout out.
Shouting out, putting it in an atmosphere.
I've talked to
Yeah,
Pastor. I talked to
yeah.
Pastor and told him, I said, the one thing that I know now, because I am a professional of treatment centers and sober houses and halfway
Yeah.
houses, I know this might sound kind of cocky, but I know it works and I know it doesn't.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know?
No, it's not cocky.
Because-
you lived it. You
Yeah.
know it. Yeah.
So I know that it's going to take a partnership with the church to radically transform someone's life. We have a friend of ours that talked to her through Facebook, gave her a comment talking about there was this thing called the 100-year bloom in Death Valley, where there was this flower that lay dormant for a long, long time because a certain area of the Death Valley desert didn't get any rain. Well, then, lo and behold, here comes all this rain, and these flowers bloom, and like people from all over the world were coming to check this out because nobody had ever seen it before.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that God will take something that seems really, really dead and put it in the perfect situation, and then this bloom happens, this new life, this new beginning, those things like that. And this is what this was.
Wow.
CR, One City Church, you know what I'm saying? Joe Rhodes, people in my life, and they put me, this imperfect person, in the perfect spot in order for all this to happen.
Wow.
This is me, Henry Martinez from Dallas, Texas, crack addict, methamphetamine addict, 4-time felon, and here I am today, a member of a great church, you know what I'm saying? I have great people around me, like Cole and David Willis,
Wow.
Derek Everest, Aaron Crowley, Johnny Acevedo, Charlie Owens, and this beautiful woman right here, and the spiritual sisters like yourself, you know what I'm saying? That's I'm in a place because God put an imperfect person in the perfect situation, and boom, this is what happened.
Boomer.
I didn't mean to do that. But that's pretty good, right?
did. That was good.
Somebody prophesied over me the other day that you might have been called boomer when you were little, but I hear that different because every time you hit the ground, it's boom, boom, boomer.
Like a Jurassic Park kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's
We're gonna have our own spot. We're gonna have our own place, and it's gonna. I mean, like with under an umbrella, and it's gonna work.
Yes.
It's definitely gonna work. Yeah.
Because I see the fruit.
Yeah.
That's why I believe it.
Yeah.
And I hear, and not just because I'm hearing your passion, I see the fruit of what you all are doing and walking out. And I want to talk about the fruit real quick. And I've shared it with you before, but I see it every time, every Sunday. But when you sit with me and we talk, I just see it on how God has blessed you all to be together, called you all to be together. And on Sundays, I sit on the opposite side of you all and we can see each other, and the worship and the love that you have for each other. And it really wipes out just the notion that addicts are not good with each other.
Yeah.
Or for each other, because you hear that all the time. But God came in and just washed all that away. Not saying it's not hard, and you don't have struggles,
right,
and you don't have hard times, but God. And also, because we're coming towards the end, I want to thank you all for the love that you have for the men and women that come here from different places that are in those places that are pits and dry places and hard places. And I see you on Sunday morning just loving on them. And then when they see you all worship, they come alongside.
Yes.
And worship with you. But we never leave at all the show without you all giving an encouraging word. I always open the floor for an encouraging word. And I want you all to speak to the addicts. Not only to the addicts, but also to those that are in that season of overcoming, but still having a hard time. Because it's easy to talk to someone that's victorious.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk to the person that's in the trap house.
Yeah.
That's sitting in the jail. And then to those that are coming out of jail. And just like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
And that might not understand what a prodigal is, but it's them.
Yeah.
So I want both of you all to take some time and just minister to them.
Okay. Well, what I would tell you is that it takes time. When you come out of addiction, you have nothing, and you want to have everything right away. But you have got to take baby steps. You're going backwards, and you've got to learn how to walk, crawl, talk, move, and nothing's gonna be fast. And there's a reason for that. It's because when you plant a seed, the seed must grow root. And if it does not grow good, hardy root, then when you come to a trial, you're not going to bend, you're going to break.
Wow.
And you've got to know that it takes many, many years for, like a lily for existence, for example. It takes a long time for a lily to spread its roots and to be able to come back each season. And there's different seasons through the recovery process. You'll have an up season and a down season and an up season. And you have got to, like she said at the beginning, buckle up, Buttercup, because it is like, it's rough. And at times you're going to feel like you want to quit. Do not quit. Don't pick up, don't use, don't quit. Just keep moving forward. And I promise you, things just start to align. Just stay with people that are in recovery. Stay going to meetings. Stay grounded. And don't waver. Just keep moving forward.
Why don't you talk to the moms?
I know that there's a hole in your heart that nothing else in the world can fill. I know that when they're not around, you are in a place that feels cold and dark, and you feel like you've abandoned them. But I do know that no matter where you go, I know no matter where they are, they will find you. It doesn't matter how long it takes. whether you haven't seen them since they were 6 or 4. They're going to want to know where you are, who you are, and what makes their makeup. So don't quit, because they will find you. And you have to be who you want your children to become. You've got to be a person that they can look up to, follow, and look after. So be that person.
Boomer?
I like it when she gets real passionate like that. That's one thing that I love about her. You can really, really hear her heart for that in her voice. But for me, I guess what I would want to say is, we talked about Romans 7:15, and that dang tattoo that I got. But if you go further in Scripture, Paul finds out it's not him, it's the sin inside him that is provoking him to do those things. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've ever met somebody that said, you know what, I just there was a commercial back in the 80s, when the Just Say No program came out with Nancy Reagan. Mm-hmm. There was a guy running on a track. He's like, nobody ever wants to say that I want to grow up to be a drug addict or crack person or something, whatever the case may be. I don't think I've ever met somebody that said I just willingly just wanted to do drugs mm-hmm. because it seems like a really, really good time. Mm-hmm. There is a misconception. There is an identity issue. There is a hole that needs to be filled, and that is the quickest way to feel at ease with whatever's going on. So my advice to someone that's in addiction is you need to find out why you're doing what you're doing. You need to look in the mirror and really see exactly why you're using.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I felt like that I was the outcast of my family. And now, I'm not saying my family did that. I'm saying that's just how I felt. And whenever you want to begin the process of recovery, it is very important that you find people that are going to help you do that.
Yeah.
If you look at any company in the Fortune 500 list of successful companies, you know what I'm saying? Every company is successful because they have the right investors, And I had to find the right people.
That's good.
To invest in my life.
That is good.
In order for me to be the person that I am today. And sometimes, unfortunately, those people don't belong to you. Well, those people do belong to you, but don't belong to you anymore. There's people that were meant for a season.
Yeah.
And I mourn for them, and I mourn my time with them, but then I had to leave that alone. Find people that are going to invest in your life. Find people that are going to speak to your destiny and not to your decisions of the past.
That's good.
Our pastor says that we don't gossip about somebody's past. We prophesy about their future.
That's right.
And for a lot of times, people in addiction, you got a lot of people gossiping about, your past, mm-hmm. talking about your past. I remember walking into different situations, family reunions, houses and stuff like that, and people would be like, what's going to happen now? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And now when I walk into a room, it's like there's smiles, there's hope, and I'm not talking about the hope in me, but what I bring. But Christ in me.
That's right.
The hope of glory. So find people that are going to invest in your life and push you towards your destiny and your future, and stay connected to a church and a program. I'll leave you with this. Go to the altar, this place right here. This is where I found Jesus. Mm-hmm. And don't go for a break. Man, Lord, I just need a break from drugs just for this week only. Because next week I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Don't go to the altar and say, Lord, my relationship with my wife or my husband it's not where it needs to be, and I just need a break. If you do that, you're just getting a temporary reprieve.
That's right.
Go to the altar and ask for a breakthrough.
Mm.
Ooh.
Go to the altar and specifically ask for a breakthrough. We preach all the time transformation over modification. You don't want to. A butterfly doesn't want to be a caterpillar again. That's a hard process to get to, and once you get to it, you're beautiful. And,
Dang, you're really doing good right now.
Well, yeah. So, and then find somebody that loves you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have some great people in this church that exhibit what the love of Jesus looks like.
Yeah.
And find a church that shows that. Because this place is my house. It is my family. I love them to death, and I wouldn't be who I am today without this church and the people. You know?
It's rare that you see somebody move for a church. Usually people move and then find a church.
Find a church.
But we moved for the church.
For this church.
And this was the best idea ever.
Yeah. So when it was my idea.
No, it was God's idea.
Well,
I trumped you.
Yes. You gave me some. But yeah, I mean, that's just find a church, find a recovery program, and stick with it.
Yeah.
You know? So if you need anything at all, reach out to us here at One City
yeah.
Church, Celebrate Recovery.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll be
That's
more than
right.
happy to help you.
That's right.
And also, our titles, not only are we Celebrate Recovery directors of this church, we're also the van drivers.
The
That's
van
right.
drivers.
That's right.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
don't despise small beginnings.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't despise
I love driving the church van.
That's right.
I used to
That's
take
right.
people to the dope house, and now I take people to church.
That's right.
Right? I call it the Holy Roller.
The Holy Roller, getting high on the Holy Spirit. That's right.
So, yeah.
With you both, you know I love you.
Love
You
you,
know
love
I
you.
love you. And this church love you. And we're glad you all listened to God and moved here. Because not only, as you were saying, y'all happy and this church has blessed y'all, but you all are a blessing to us. And we can't do what we do without you all. And so, and I don't care what level, in the pit, out of the pit, we cannot do what we do without you all.
Yeah.
And so thank you for being here with me, Boomer and Jeannie. I love y'all both. I was excited about today, and I'm excited to see y'all on Sundays. I want y'all to know that, because sometimes we get mixed up in worship and the word. But I wanted you to be on today, both of you, so you could just speak to those people that no one else can speak to,
Yeah.
that have not had that experience. So I say thank you for being here with us, and I thank you all for tuning in to Not in My City Unite.